Marhaba.
Welcome back
To Islamic preacher and apologist. A very big hello and assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to you all. Now let's get to it. Today I'm going to be talking about the future of Islamic apologetics. But before that, I will be talking about those people that actually watch refutation videos, whether it be mine or anybody else's. First, I will talk about the audience first. Whenever I watch refutation videos, or whenever I create refutation videos, there's one question that always comes in my mind. Why don't people Google it? If you think that I'm the only one that thinks this way, then you're absolutely wrong. Farid Response thinks the same way.
I've seen multiple examples of him saying this is what this verse says. You go to it's not there. It's absolutely not there.
So he's a liar. So he's like
He's
كذاب أشر.
Flat out lies, akhi, to his audience.
Let's
He
take
doesn't respect his audience,
a look at
akhi.
It's just why would you? I mean, the thing is, do you not think that people are going to open up the book and check?
La, most people don't. Most people
So I
don't.
mean, so your arguments are going to have superficial.
His fan base will eat anything that he says. You know, they'll eat up anything that he says. And to him, that's what's important. He doesn't care about the Muslims that are going to look it up.
You know, the failure to not look things up is not religion specific. Basically, I've noticed this quality in people in general. It's the duty of a Muslim to study Islam, do research, and find out things as much as possible. Now, there's a difference between the audience of these two individuals. The left is Nauman Ali Khan, and on the right is Farid Response. The issue is that on the left, let's talk about Nauman Ali Khan. The audience of those of Nauman Ali Khan are those that want to learn more about Islam. Their hearts are not in doubt. And that's that. And whereas the audience of Farid's Response, now a part of them, which I think a small proportion of them, are those that want to obtain knowledge. But I believe, and I understand, and this is my perspective rather, that those that actually watch refutation videos are those that are already in doubt. As you already remember that Farid Response actually created a video called Doubts in Islam. If you want to obtain information about Islam, the Quran is there, the internet search engine is there, Merciful Servant is there, and informative channels are actually there. You see, I'm not worried about those people that research and watch these channels to obtain knowledge about Islam. I'm worried about those people that watch channels, YouTube channels, to clear off misconceptions because they are having doubts in Islam. If I or anyone else creates refutation videos, be it me or any other person, I'm not pointing at one specific individual, create a refutation video, it cannot really be done. More than actually about 70 to 80% of the time, it cannot be done without saying that this report or that report is fabrication. Such as words like it's naive.
About this at all.
Okay, so first I'd like to point out that the report that Yasser is using here again is the same report that David was using previously. Now, yes, it's the same fabricated report, it's a different source, the same exact chain. Now, for David to mess this up is, what do you expect, right?
The thing is, refutation creating YouTubers attack those individuals that read out those reports. But the reality is this. Why is there such a report? I mean, there is, of course, a Daif collection of hadith. Why don't Muslim scholars, well-studied, those that have studied hadith really well, narrations really well, why don't they reanalyze those hadith and completely reject them? People's perception of hadith should be readdressed. At the moment, people see a hadith as the sayings or the doings of the beloved Prophet, but I say it should be the practice of the beloved Prophet. For example, our Prophet's marriage to Aisha. Now, some people say that she was 6 or 9. There are scholars that are completely against this. The fact is, our Prophet mostly married divorced or widowed women. So, therefore, that was his practice. And I believe, and I understand, in my opinion, and I believe my opinion is right, is that the hadith should be the practice of our beloved Prophet and less to do with sayings or the doings of our beloved Prophet. So therefore, people could focus on those things which were on repeat. People should see a hadith as, for example, how our beloved Prophet practiced the 5 pillars of Islam. That is how far the hadith should go. The other things you're not going to be benefited by. You're not going to be benefited with regards to our Prophet's marriage to Zainab or our Prophet's marriage to Aisha. What you would be benefited by is how our Prophet treated his wives. For example, the fact that he actually supported women that were mostly divorced or widowed. Those things that our Prophet repeatedly did were actually more important. You're not going to be benefited by one-off deals, by one-off decisions. For example, the 5 pillars of Islam, how our Prophet fasted, and those things that he did, and how he had lighter meals during the evening and so on and so forth, and how our Prophet performed Hajj, how our Prophet prayed 5 times a day. Those things, if we just focus on how our Prophet practiced giving charity, how our Prophet practiced zakat, how our Prophet helped the poor, if these things, and even being nice to your wife and good to your wife is a form of charity, a form of sadaqah, I think that every other hadith which has nothing to do with what our Prophet practiced must be dismissed completely. It's just going to add more information. I want people to focus on the 5 pillars of Islam and how to practice those. I mean, there are several narrations, not just those ones that our Yasir Qadi read out, or not just those ones that David Wood read out. There are many narrations relating to our beloved Prophet on his marriage to Zainab. There's so many. I mean, how many narrations are these refutation video creators going to refute? I mean, the more you limit information, the better it is. If you limit hadith only based on the 5 pillars on Islam, how these were practiced, it will just reduce the number of works that there are. Even if people focused on the Holy Quran in this day and age, just one book, I believe it's a very big thing. When these refutation videos are created, you have actually refuted the Islamic critics' claim, but has added, doubt in the individual who is already a believer. Let's suppose somebody wants to beat you and they want to attack you in your hand or your arm, but what gets attacked or hit is your leg. That means that you saved the beloved Prophet from these accusations, but you somewhere attacked your religion by saying this was fabrication or that was fabrication. People, if any above average intellectual individuals, say that, he didn't just attack David Wood or Mr. So-and-so. He also attacked what he read out from, and in brackets, that would be hadith. And I want people to realize that and think about what I just said. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe. Take care and goodbye.